Hi, and welcome to this video on what's new in B1 Usability Package 2016.08. So 08 is a huge release for us, and it contains mostly two new major areas. There's major new areas in printer delivery and major new areas in item placement tool. So let's go through them. First up is printer delivery and new enhancements there. The first thing we have done is we have now added a highly requested feature of mass delivery. So with mass delivery, you had a few different filters like posting date and numbers, but many people wanted additional filters. So for that reason, we adopted the input variable system. So if you in a mass delivery go into the configuration of it and put in a where condition, which you could in the past, but now you can actually use the syntax for input variables, the %0, %1, and so on. If you do so, you can see that when you press preview, instead of just going directly through preview, it will come up and ask you for some additional filters. In my case, I've added, so it was a customer, only a specific customer for only a specific year, but you actually decide exactly what you want to ask for in the where conditions. Then normal preview will come up and run it automatically. Of course, if you schedule such a mass delivery, it will not allow you to schedule something with using the variables. So in that scenario, you are simply not allowed to choose them, or you get an error message from the server component if you run with that. But if you do it from within the client, you can of course do it. Second thing we have added is what we call additional columns. Again, mass delivery, where we had decided which columns you saw in the preview. But many of you had user-defined fields, some other fields that was very important for you to check out doing mass delivery. So we have added that you can simply just add the fields you want. You can write them here, or if you have joins, you can write t0.numbercard and so on. You can then specify how they should look in the end result, like for example, numbered card, I want to call it customer reference number for the sales order mass delivery. And the end result is that after our columns, your columns will come along as well. So for example, customer reference number, comments, user-defined fields, whatever you want in here. So lots of requests on that, and now you actually have the option to do it as well. Another thing about additional columns, not only the columns there, but all our fields in general, is you can now search them. So we have added search for mass delivery. So you just key in some of the data and it will search among every single one of the rows, including the ones you have added as additional columns. Moving on to where we have invested the most, which is item placement tool. So item placement tool is the tool to rearrange the screens, make new fields and such things. But we have added even more features now. First thing is we actually had two item designers. The one was item placement tool and the other one was the content creator. The content creator was very famous for the one you needed to use when you needed to do new tabs and so on. And it could also do buttons and such things that item placement tool couldn't. Item placement tool can now do everything that content creator could do in the past. So content creator is more or less legacy. We'll still maintain it. We'll not take it away in any way, but we don't need to use it anymore because item placement tool can do every single thing that content creator could in the past. So for example, it's now not only UDFs you have in the item placement tool configuration, you actually also have custom item lines. So you can make static text directly from here, buttons, golden arrows, new tabs, which I'll come into a bit later, and rectangles. So all the options you had here is now also here. And that gives the benefit of main problem with Content Creator was it only used pixel-based, while Item Placement Tool got its new placement type with place below, place above, which make it very much more easy now to actually go in, say just place right to with a button and you have it there instead of needing to fiddle with the pixel top and width system. It also means it's much better at understanding font size changes, Hebrew language, and so on. Another thing we added is support for choose from list and golden arrows. So choose from list is when you press tab and something comes up. Golden arrows have been there for a while, but it only linked to the very simple things like items and business partners. It couldn't do to sales and purchase documents, but they can now. So it will now instead show a proxy item, what we call it. So it will be an item that actually linked to some other data, and it will actually know how to go with via doc entry, doc num system and everything in there. Also, choose from lists is new in this, so you can actually set up a choose from list on an item. So you can make a business partner field fully like rest of business one, where you actually have the tab, you can search for the business partner code, the item code, and so on. And these two go very much hand in hand. It can even do the UDOs like SAP have added into the system, and 9.2's new system entities UDFs. We also have the custom tabs. We have for a long time been able to do right click on a screen and say new tab. That has not gone away, but in the past it was made by validation system and content creator. Now item placement tool will take over doing the work, which gives the benefits of you don't need to use the content creator because it only had the pixel based. You don't get additional weird validation systems that launch the content creator and press the button for you. The item placement tool will again take fully control of that. And we have enhanced it a bit, like you can, for example, directly on the ad screen, choose what left pixel position it should happen on, and how many columns you want in a screen if you want to have something below, like a picture, for example. It all places it with the place relation system, place below, place above, and it knows some more things about new tabs. So previous version SQL report tab is now also custom tabs. So you can go in and create your tab and put in them in the items just as you would in the past. So tabs are now fully controlled by item placement tool, and that makes it possible for you to make them much faster and again work in multiple font sizes, Hebrew language, and so on. Hebrew language will still need to have their tabs created specifically, but font sizes is much more supported in the new way of tabs. Other enhancements, we have a few. There's a lot more smaller things, but these are just the highlights. So you saw that in master delivery we got the variables. So we also added them for crystal reports now. So if you have a crystal report that you want to ask some data before you actually run, you don't need to key in the value or let the crystal viewer or do it. Crystal viewer could do it, but for example, if you wanted to print directly, it would just fail if you didn't provide the parameter values. Now you can ask for the parameter values with the %0, %1, and so on, just like the other ones. And for example, here I press my button, I have been asked for what activity I want to run. And when I run that activity, it's actually the one I chose in the system. SQL Report have also gotten a few enhancements. First up, since all the other new variable systems have the option to choose the title we also gave SQL Report that option. I will show it in next slide. But also we added search capability. So you can go in and say, which fields do I actually want to search on in my report? In this case, I've chosen every one of them, but there could be some long fields that you don't want to search in, or something that simply doesn't make sense to search. So you can define which of them are actually searchable. When you do so, and add at least one search field, it will come up with this search line up on top, and you can search and find the data relevant. And again, the title of the input variables in the past, it said only input survey values. Now you can actually choose what it should say. Final thing I want to share with you is a little external tool. As many of you know, when you download B1UP, you get the add-on, of course, but you also get a tools folder in the download, where there's a few different nice small tools. This tool is a mass remover of metadata. So if you want to get rid of B1UP for some reason in a database, you can now. You can go in, find all things that start with namespace BOY, for example, check off that you want to delete, user-defined fields, user-defined tables and objects and so on, and get rid of it. So it's a nice tool to, you had tried an add-on where in the past and you didn't want it anyway, so you can now mass get rid of the data in a database. Of course, you should use this at your own risk. If you choose to remove some valuable information, they are gone. It's a permanently deleting system of fields, so make a backup before it happens. Okay, so at time of this recording, the B1UP 2016.08 is in beta, and you can go to this website, b1up.it.com/sbo/beta, and you can get and preview the version early. The final release is in mid-August, and that will be on the normal download page as well, of course. So with that, I hope it was beneficial and interesting to see what's coming in the new version, and hope it will be features you can really use. So thank you for attending.